of Love and Light. I'm your host, Dr. Jane Mountrose, and I'm here with my wonderful friend and co-host, Gretchen Comer, excuse me, Gretchen, who's a fellow coach, healer, and energy worker, just many things, just wonderful. And our theme today, which I'm very excited about, is balancing the masculine and feminine. It's actually one of the most profound areas of our lives, and it's one that we absolutely have to bring into balance to be able to move forward and fully embrace ourselves as creators, because as we'll discuss, you can't have one without the other, and society in general is so out of balance right now. Those of us who are wanting to lift for ourselves and for society in general are in a place where it is very important. It's an important role that we have. So it is essential at this time of the awakening, and we're going to have a meditation that will be with two magnificent enlightened beings who epitomize the divine feminine and the divine masculine. So we'll be connecting in with those energies and embracing more of it for ourselves. And I'm very excited about this. I haven't done this before as a meditation. It'll be new. Anyhow, I guess as always, I want to thank you for being with us, for taking the time out of your schedule, and for stepping up as emissaries of love and light, which is what we're all here for. The circle is here every week at this time. It's here to help us to light up our own lives, to heal, to grow, and to stand up as beacons of light for the world. So many things are happening here, and we're delighted to have you with us. Before we start, there is one thing I also do every week, just centering, which is just a moment of centering. If you can close your eyes, this is a nice time to do that, and just breathe. Take some beautiful, actually feminine nurturing breaths, just the most beautiful, wonderful, nurturing breaths you can come up with. Breathing in love and light from the universe, and just releasing any energy you don't need right now so we can be more present together. Beautiful, beautiful breaths, full breaths, like a baby, all the way down to your belly. That feels so good. Okay, so now I want to turn to you, Gretchen, and ask you to share a bit about your feelings on the masculine and feminine to get us started.
Sure. I too, I agree. I think this is a really important topic. When I started to really draw my awareness to the masculine and feminine side years ago, I was amazed at how frequently my issues really stem back to one of those two aspects. It really was a great starting point for me to just really look at my limitations and my obstacles. And so when I am drawing my awareness to both those parts of myself, I'm more in the present moment. I feel a greater sense of harmony. I feel a greater sense of fulfillment because my receptive feminine is working in conjunction with the active masculine. And so the two of those together are like an unbeatable team, that's what's so wonderful about it. And so now when I feel energetically off, there's something wrong or something going on, that's the first thing I do now is really check in both to the masculine and feminine aspects of myself. And that can lead me to questions like, am I being too passive? Am I not being active enough? Or am I being too much action without thought? Am I not being receptive enough? So those are really easy things that I do in order to just really check in and see if I'm out of balance, if I'm imbalanced in any way. And I think it's really helpful because it keeps me from becoming too passive and receptive and too much action without thought. And I feel like that's important when we kind of marry the two. There's so much amazing magic that can happen from that. There's just a lot of amazing magic, and just to be able to cultivate that sense of harmony and fulfillment is incredible too, because those are going to be really important allies on our spiritual path and our soul evolution. So to me, it's really important. I do a lot of work with the masculine and feminine. This is such a good topic for today.
Oh, good. Yeah, I agree. It's important, and actually, I think it's a perfect time of year for it, because February is known as a month of purification. It's kind of like this is our last big release before we start opening to spring and the more active aspects of the year.
Right.
And it's a wonderful time to look within, as Gretchen was saying, and it is actually any time is a good time, because one without the other, it just doesn't work. And I think that we'll make that clear for anyone who doesn't understand that yet as we go through it. I want to say hi to Babs. She's with us, so
Hi, Babs.
welcome, Babs. I was thinking about it earlier, like how can we best maybe describe it for people who are not quite sure what we're talking about. It is actually reflected in the body. It starts in the brain. The left brain is the more rational, action-oriented part of the brain, and then the right brain is the more intuitive side of the brain. And then in the body, it shifts. So I've always wondered why that is. I never knew. But anyhow, so the left side of the body actually is your feminine side. So if something is happening on the left side of your body, it's your feminine side. The right side is your masculine side. And that's just a perspective on how everything is connected within us. Also, what I really thought might be a good way to connect in with those energies is through words. And so I wrote a list of feminine words. Maybe, Gretchen, you can see if you want to add any at the end.
Okay.
So open, receptive, intuitive, nurturing, relaxing, peaceful, calming, centering, spacious, vulnerable, fluid, dreaming. That's a good one. Envisioning, allowing, understanding, supporting.
Those are wonderful. Yeah, I was going to say dreaming too. I feel like it's kind of like the feminine is the dreamer side, and then the masculine is like when we awaken, it's time to make those actions, to put our dreams into action, essentially. Right. Yeah, and I feel like the imbalance between the two. I was thinking about this the other day, and somebody had referenced this. I thought this was so funny. It's like learning how to swim online. You can go to Google and you can learn all the steps on how to swim, but you're not going to be able to go to swim when you get to a pool, Right. So you really only have part of that information that you need. And when that's a good example of being out of balance. We can learn all we want, but we've got to be able to put it into action. So I feel like, if we can do that, it's kind of like, without it, we're like swimming, like we learned it online. It's not really helpful. Sure, we know all the techniques of how to physically do it, but unless we put it into action, it's not going to work. So right. To me, that's kind of what it feels like when I'm out of balance. I'm not fully equipped with what I need in order to make good discernment, and to be discerning and make good decisions and see the opportunities, because I'm probably not in the present moment. I'm probably
right. Of course, that's a chronic problem.
Right. So
not just for you.
I'm just speaking for myself, but yes.
I see Sharon here.
Hey, Sharon.
Yeah, and with what you were saying, I think this is a really I think the overview point which you made, I just wanted to stress it too, is the feminine side is the visionary, intuitive. It's the side that creates the dream, that connects with the truth of who we are and develops a sense of where we want to go. And then the masculine is the one who gets us there. Right. So I have masculine words too: active, in control, powerful, committed, focused, disciplined, having the will to follow through, tenacity, and it's logical and rational. It can read the map and go there. Right. But it cannot, in terms of the spiritual journey, it cannot create the map for us.
Right.
So and that's part of the problem. If you have a strong masculine without a feminine, an active feminine, you could be going around doing actions like crazy, but not getting anywhere because you don't have that feminine side helping to show you where to go, and vice
Right.
versa. You can have a
Right.
lot of the dreaming and nurturing and envisioning, but if you don't have the will to follow through, you're not going to get anywhere either. So you
Right.
just can't have one without the other.
Right, right. You know, something happened to me about a month ago, and I often think about it in both the feminine and masculine sides of my body. I took a pretty big spill in my office and damaged my left knee
Oh,
considerably. I was ice pack, you know, I had ice pack within minutes, and you know, was limping for days. And I was just trying to tune in and see what that was all about. And I really felt that a lot of that had to do with what I was doing in that moment. I wasn't really in my
okay.
body. I wasn't
Mm.
grounded. I was not in the present moment. Or I would have seen the obstacle and
I'm
not
sorry.
fallen.
It's
No, no,
not
that's
funny.
fine. I would have seen the obstacle and not fallen, you know, had I, or tripped,
Right.
had I, you know, been
Had
in
you
my
been
body.
present to it, right?
Right. And it was this thought process I've been having all day is, oh, there's not enough time and I'm not going to
Right.
get that done and I'm not going to get this done. And my body just said, you need to slow down, you know? And so because
Mhm.
I wasn't listening to those inner promptings, the universe, you know, provided me with an opportunity to learn that. And because I tripped and fell and hurt my left knee, that was very much the receptive side of my body. It forced me to have to take a couple days off work and
Oh,
receive and be
be more
receptive.
receptive.
Right. So we don't want to get to that extreme point. We want to listen
No.
to those inner promptings. But I thought that was so ironic because, you know, I thought all this time I kept saying there's not enough time and I'm not going to get this done. I'm not going to get this done. And the universe said, you're right. You're not going to get it done because now
Right.
you're going to fall and
Right.
I'm going to
Because you're
provide you
not
with
even
enough.
here.
Right. I'm going to provide you with an opportunity to really be receptive. And that's what I had to do with having several days off of work and having my leg propped up and an ice pack on it. I couldn't do anything physical. I couldn't do anything
Right.
active. And
Yeah.
so that was really important. And I think we all get signs like that. We get these inner
Mhm.
promptings where we're feeling out of balance, but maybe we're not paying attention to it. And that was a good lesson
And you
for
get,
me.
yeah. Yeah. And
Right.
I think this is something to be watchful for, is for people who have accidents. I remember one time one of our students broke her leg and she was basically in bed for a month in a
Mm,
cast,
right.
or just maybe even getting a cold. So you have to lie in bed for a few
Right.
days, whatever
Right.
it is. The reason I was laughing, you know, it isn't really funny, but it reminded me of a time. This was a while back. Philip and I were at a gathering with a woman who was a massage therapist and healer kind of a person, invited some people from like more conventional medical people or psychological people, and then some of the spiritual people to come together and do things together. So there was this one woman who was actually a therapist, and she was so busy. She and I did this a process with her on it, which is so funny. Um, she was really, really busy and obviously out of her body. And so she got up in the morning. She was in such a rush. She got out of bed and walked right into the wall.
Oh,
And she hit her head and actually had to go to the emergency room and get stitches. So I did a process with her on what was going on. And it was something very much along those same lines, that she just was not present to what was happening. She was not aware. She wasn't, you know, taking time to breathe and and be reflective on what was going on. And it was a wonderful process. She did it. And then at the end she said, well, I don't believe in any of that. That's why I was laughing, because it's like, here you, and she had the insights herself. And then at the end she just rejected it all and said, oh, no, 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 thank you. Not going there.
Uh,
There's
oh,
Nikki. Hi, Nikki.
hi, Nikki.
So it's fascinating. And in society, it's actually tragic. If you look at it, it seems like it's going to even more of an extreme with some of the people who are more on the masculine side about controlling women's bodies, and now we're banning books and just the masculine going completely wild without a divine feminine to guide it.
Right.
And wanting to control women more and more even. And it
Right.
surprised me, but I guess what I'm thinking now is that this all has to do with the need for us to be able to to awaken on a broader scale. We have to bring all those things out in the open and contend with them.
Right. I think our society on some level needs to kind of reframe how we perceive the masculine and the feminine sides of everyone.
Right.
Because if we're a woman and we already might have some issues around masculinity, that's where our attention should go. We can bring our attention to that, and it shows us where our limiting beliefs are. And the same thing with, vice versa. So if if we're feeling, that lack of, or the imbalance, then simply reframing how we perceive it. It might stem back to things that have happened in our past as to why we don't feel like we want to tune into the masculine side as a woman, or how men are perceived if they tune into the feminine side. And so bringing more awareness, kind of reframing that in our society, I feel like is important, to bring more awareness to that the topic of the masculine feminine aspects.
For sure. And it is, I think there is a distinction, what you were saying about the masculine. There's masculine and there's feminine, and there's like, I'm a man, and then there's I have a masculine part, and I can be powerful. It's not, this I am the Lord of the world or something, which is more egotistical. And that's why I think making that distinction of divine feminine and divine masculine is important, because these are those aspects when they're in balance and alignment with who we really are.
Yes.
And from that perspective, power is not power over others.
Right.
It's having our own power, our personal power. It's there's a different, just a whole vibration to it, because we can be powerful.
Right.
But having power over others is not a part of the agenda, really. It is actually that's where the feminine needs to come in and say, well, I'm supportive and nurturing of others being themselves.
Right. And I feel like it's a song is beautiful when it has a melody, but it's even more beautiful when there's a harmony. And so I feel like the two of them kind of beautiful, working in concert with each other,
right,
using the music metaphor, it really does have a tremendous impact on our life and how we can move ahead with a lot more confidence. It really helps us understand just all those different sides of ourselves. It really helps us understand and improve our awareness and our attention to the things that are important in our life too. So it really has these like far-reaching, extenuating circumstances, which are beautiful when they work in concert with each other.
Right. Yeah. And that's another part of it. It's interesting, brain research, which is a little bit of a different thing, but it's been shown that people with the two sides of the brain, people who have more communication between the sides, are more balanced.
Yes.
And that's true of the masculine and feminine too. It's not like you have, so my masculine's over here and it's strong, my feminine's over here and she's receptive, but they don't communicate. It's kind of like you want them to be walking down the path hand in hand.
Yes.
And sometimes I've even, when I felt a little unbalanced, even just close my eyes and imagine energy flowing back and forth between the right and left sides of the brain. Because the division in many people, it's like a brick wall. There's no communication, but communication is possible.
Right. Yeah. And when I feel that imbalance, it's like living a half life. I'm not living life to the fullest because I'm not working with both sides,
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Yeah. So I was thinking we might want to even start the meditation a little early because it might be a little longer. And I thought what I'd like to do, I'm going to introduce both of these amazing beings to you and go through a process with them. And then you can interject too, Gretchen, if you have any insights or
Yes.
just what you're experiencing or what you're sensing is valuable to share in the
Great.
experience. So I'm very excited about this. This is a little different. I'm going to first tell you about who Sanat Kumara and Lady Venus are. And I want to say also, if all of this is new to you, working with ascended masters or enlightened beings in the higher dimensions, and this seems a little far out, that's okay because you don't have to believe in all of this to connect with the energy and the vibration and the meaning behind all of it. Because these are beings from other places. They're not even from here. So what I'm going to do, I wrote down a few things about both of them. They are just magnificent. Actually, I've had Sanat Kumar and Lady Venus, their cards from Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light Oracle, which I use. I've had these cards on my desk for a while, just working with these. So this is Sanat Kumara, and it says on the card, light activation. Sanat Kumara is considered to be a vast cosmic master who we're fortunate actually to have on Earth to support us at this time of the Great Awakening, along with his twin flame. So these are a pair, Lady Venus. Together they exemplify the divine masculine and divine feminine for humanity. Sanat Kumara, he's a highly, highly evolved being and is known by some as the teacher of teachers. He's also considered to be one of the leaders of the ascended masters. And Hindus describe him as a leader among gods. He's said to have come from the planet Venus, along with Lady Venus, makes sense, to support humanity at this critical time. He has many gifts, including, and what we'll experience today, that ability to support us in activating more of the light of our true essence, which is just very beautiful. They're both really beautiful beings. One thing I love about these cards, if anyone is thinking about getting any cards with enlightened beings on them, they feel so real to me. Looking into his eyes, I feel like I can sense his presence with me. And it's important for all of us to understand these beings are here with us. So he's going to be here personally with you and also with the rest of us. We don't have to understand how that works, but it is the way it works. So Lady Venus, she's obviously a very beautiful Venusian being. And her card says downloads and understanding. She's another highly evolved being who is an embodiment of love and light. You can kind of feel that in the card and in her energy. As her name implies, of course, she's said to be from the planet Venus. She also has the ability to support us in releasing restrictive energies and opening more to love as our divine nature. So what we're going to do actually today, she's going to help us to release some of those restrictive energies, which actually have been enforced upon us by societal norms, or not enforced, but we're saturated with all of that right now. I wanted to read a little more. Venus is actually said to be the heart center of our solar system. It is populated by an advanced civilization that's dedicated to embodying divine light and love, with love being the primary key for our evolution, which it is, opening to the heart. It's like our center. It is the key. The beings of Venus can be tremendously valuable resources for an awakening humanity. They have important gifts to offer us as we open our hearts and souls. And of course, together, as mentioned, Sanat Kumara and Lady Venus are widely considered to be the purest embodiments of divine masculine and feminine that are now available to humanity. So it's a real blessing that we can invite them to be with us. And as I mentioned, if although this seems a little questionable to that, that's okay. It's okay. Just notice what you notice, have the experience, and allow it to be what it is. Margaret Wade is here. Hi, Margaret. And she asked, what's the name of the card deck again? I can show it to you. It is, I'm getting kind of tangled up. I have all these shells and things on to keep me warm. Kyle Gray's Keepers of the Light Oracle cards. It has a number of divine beings who you can connect with through that. And we've used it actually, Philip and I, my husband, to learn more about the masters and to connect with them. And I've been really thrilled by the illustrations on the cards, because I think they're just so expressive, I would say, in themselves. You can just feel their energy by looking at the cards. So any thoughts on that before we start, Gretchen?
No, I love those cards. I have to get a deck. I have another deck of Kyle Gray cards, but I don't have Keepers of the Light, and I just love those cards. I think they're so uplifting, and I love the artwork. So
yeah, it is beautiful. And as a note for anyone, if you are interested and you can't afford to have them, or just don't want to get them for any reason, if you look up, like if you were to look up Sanat Kumara on Google, and then go to images, you'll see a lot of images, and you'll see the ones from Kyle Gray's cards of almost all of them if you look them up. And a lot of times you can see people will have actually the card and the message on the card with it. So that's another thing that you can do if having the cards is not practical for you or desirable for you.
He's very good at sharing his information out there. Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're going to start now in the usual way. And one thing I think about connecting, as we do here, with the masters and the archangels, all of those beautiful beings of light who are way up, they're pretty high up in the higher dimensions, is we want to bring our lightest selves to them. It's kind of, it reminds me of that picture from the Sistine Chapel with God reaching down and man reaching up, that we want to be reaching up toward them. And of course, doing it with our pure intent for wanting to know what's true and right, for us as souls, not our egos in any way. Okay, so we'll start again, actually, as we did earlier, just closing our eyes and imagine breathing in light and love from all around the universe. I already sense, I can feel their energy already, and they're supporting us with more love and light. Just breathing in that love and light from the universe. Nice, beautiful in-breath. A full in-breath is a sign of completely embracing light and love and life. So you're embracing life with an in-breath. And a complete exhale is a complete release. So you're releasing anything you don't need. So breathing in more love, light, and life. And releasing with the exhale, just allowing any tension you notice or any incoherent energy you sense around you or in you, just allow it to drift down into the earth. There it can be neutralized and turned back into light. And send that breath with your intention. Just imagine sending it, if you have tension in your neck or shoulders, places where we humans often hold tension, just send the breath there and release. You can send it into your brain, just asking any thoughts that you don't need right now to drift off. They can come back. It really helps me to tell my rational mind that I want to hear from you afterwards when to evaluate. Just allow me to have the experience now. And of course, we pick up energy from other people, other places, other times. You can just ask any energy that is not yours, that's in that ball of light, that is your energy field. Ask any energy that's not yours to leave now with your intention. It has to do so. And send it back lovingly where it came from. Similarly, we leave bits of ourselves in other places and other times. Just ask to have all of your own energy that you can receive now to come back. So you have more of yourself and you have more presence now in your body. And you may sense that if you compare how you feel now with how you felt before we started here. Simpler. It's simpler when we can just be and be ourselves in our bodies. And from here, I want to invite Sanat Kamara and Lady Venus to join us. Just noting that magnificent energy. As I said before, I started to feel them coming in earlier. So we're just getting a good amount of it, just the perfect amount for us. And I want to ask first to have Lady Venus step forward, and we can sense her loving energy, that feminine energy more now. And it's really just a matter of opening to it and being receptive to her sharing with you. You might feel more, or you might see her image, you might hear something from her. Just notice what you notice and allow her to bring in more of those divine feminine energies. And as we do that, we're going to rise up into the stars. We're going to raise our vibrations even more. This is something I like to do. Just imagine going up through the atmosphere and out into the universe. What that does for us is it takes us above the mass consciousness, programming, and energy, that vibration, into a place where we're free. And now we can ask Lady Venus to support us in releasing any of those false or limiting vibrations that are holding us down. They do hold us down. The beliefs that humanity wants us to have about our limited worth, our limited potential, limited time. Just allow her to support you in releasing them. And you might just imagine that starlight coming in through your body, beautiful frequency of the stars sparkling all around you. And as you release those things that are holding you down, just open more to the love and light that can lift you up. We want to fill all those spaces that we empty out with love and light. And feeling that beautiful, receptive, intuitive side that has the vision for you, that can open to the vision of your highest self, embracing that vision in your life now. And open to what that means to you, to allow yourself more time for nurturing and reflecting and just being with that feminine side. And notice if she has a message for you or a gift for you. And Gretchen, I'm curious if there's anything you'd like to add, anything you're noticing.
Yes, I see. I'm sensing Lady Venus in this beautiful kind of pale blue white light, and it's emanating from Sanat Kumara as well. And I just feel very held. I feel like as we moved through the atmosphere and out into space, I felt like their energy expanded just to kind of encompass all of the earth, really holding all of us in their love. And I feel like I'm being directed personally to just spend more time on self-love, to, really explore that topic. And I feel like she's really inviting all of us, Lady Venus is inviting all of us to explore that topic and what that means to us. And really just to let go of any of those limitations we feel, where we might feel that that's selfish or self-centered, to really focus on self-love.
Yeah.
But I feel like her message is really about love and self-love, and understanding our worth. And when I say that, I can feel Sanat Kumara just beaming. He's smiling and beaming, like, yes, yes, feels very reaffirming that, yes, that's it. You got it. So yeah, I think it's just beautiful to feel held, and to know that, there is no judgment. They hold us unconditionally, and
Right.
Are always available, I feel, for those lessons on love, and it's such a multi-layered topic of love, but self-love is such a huge part of it. And that's what I feel I'm being guided right now, and really for everyone, whoever feels that's important today.
Yeah, thank you. That was beautiful. And I love what you said about being held. I feel
Yes.
that too with her. And it's true with all of these masters and angels who are around us and supporting us. They're holding us in the light. And we take this in. The more we take this in and more often, it changes us. It does open us to more light.
Yes. Yeah, she's very good at both of them. Actually, the energy feels very soft. It's like a softening of any of those hard edges or judgments or beliefs that we have about ourselves and about others in the world. A large part of self-love is about taking that love and compassion back out into the world, so that's what helps create more balance.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And with that, I want to invite Sanat Kumara to come closer to us and allow us to feel the energy of the divine masculine now. And with everything Gretchen said, with that soft, loving energy that comes from all of these beings from Venus, there also is strength. So we can get a sense of what the divine masculine is here, and just allow that energy around yourself. And again, you might sense that sparkling starlight touching you, and sensing his unique vibration supporting you. And in this case, with his energy, we can open to allowing him to help us to unlock our awareness of our gifts, our strengths and unique genius, and our ability to follow through. Our ability to follow through in a spiritual way, not by running crazily around like your head has been cut off, but in a way that is in complete alignment with the truth of who you are, and drawing on the inner strength and power that you have to move forward with confidence. And just notice what that feels like, having that strength. This is an opportunity with this energy to reflect again for a moment on what is most meaningful and relevant to you now that you want to bring into your life, and how you might want to support the good of humanity. And how you're here. You're here now supporting humanity. All of the love and light that you embrace and embody is radiating out around you now. And with his help, we can activate more of that divine masculine energy, so that when we are taking action, we can do so in a calm and reasoned way. drawing on our own inner strength and ability to follow through joyfully, because we're doing the things that are meaningful for us and for all. Just imagine you can step more firmly into your soul's divine purpose now with focus and intention, allowing it to take you step by step. We don't have to know the whole thing, just allowing it to guide us step by step as we're moving forward. And feel that light activation from Sanat Kumara. It makes me very happy. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I feel really happy. That wasn't what I was expecting. But it is, you see, that's the thing. We expect it to be one thing, and maybe it's something else that we really need to bring in. So Gretchen, would you like to share?
Yes, I'm sensing that I felt like Sanat Kumara was saying to me, there's so much power in not just love, but in kindness, in compassion. I feel like that's some of his message today is, don't discount that. It is so powerful. It is active, kindness in action. There's a saying that kindness is just love with work boots on. And I love that saying, because it really is about putting it into action. And so kindness is a quality that we have to cultivate. But there's so much power in that. It's not a weakness. There's a lot of power in love,
right.
choosing kindness, choosing compassion. Those are actually sometimes the harder feelings to and actions to take in our world, but there is just so much power. And so I feel like he's just repeating that there is so much power in those qualities. And that's where we're going to find, the most energy and movement and magic, really, in our lives, is when we can cultivate those qualities and act on them.
Right. And it makes me think of how bringing out the best in people, it is through kindness, it's through love, it's through nurturing and supporting them. And I think you're talking about doing that in an action, as an action.
Right.
And helping to empower them, believing in them, believing in all of us, because we're all here for a reason. It's not like we have to control anyone. Everyone, the goal is for us all to connect with the truth of who we are and why we're here and where we're going, and act on it.
Right.
Not for us to have to tell anybody else what it is for them. It's to me, that's a relief too. I don't have to know. It's interesting being a guide or a spiritual teacher or doing consultations with people. I don't have to know what the right direction is. I can't. How could I possibly know?
Right.
It's in each of us, hold it in our own hearts. So that's beautiful. It's interesting if you think of kindness as a power.
Right.
So beautiful.
The energy is just beautiful between the two of them. Just yeah. Really beautiful.
Right. And with that, we can imagine us, just imagine walking now on the path with them, with us side by side, with the masculine and feminine connecting and sharing. And knowing that we have this support, which lifts us in ways that maybe nothing else could. And shows us the light, really. Before we end, I also want to mention, in making these connections, you may have noticed aspects of your own self that need more attention, as Gretchen was suggesting too earlier. And your opportunity now for the divine masculine in you is to follow through on that. If it's following through with giving yourself more time and spaciousness to connect with that divine feminine in you. Or if it can be anything. It can be a combination. Just how can you strengthen both of these aspects and bring them together side by side on the journey? It's all an opportunity. And I feel like they're saying again, Sanat Kumara and Lady Venus, we come to you with love and light. And we are here to support you. We love you. With that, we can bring awareness to our bodies too, and just experience the fullness of ourselves. Just one thing is straightening, making sure you're straightening your spine. And with the fullness of yourself, just expressing gratitude for their presence. I also only recently started to say I love you to them too. I don't know if before I just thought that I wasn't worthy to say that or it would be meaningless to them. I do love them. And I love all of you. So with great gratitude, we can bring whatever it is that is valuable to us back. Coming back down into our bodies and wherever we are, in our chairs or wherever we're relaxing. Again, feeling your feet connected with the earth, grounding yourself, and breathing more active, alert energy to come back to your normal waking state. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Yeah, it was beautiful, Jane. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
That was your
beautiful.
contribution was very beautiful too.
Yeah.
I almost feel like, what else can I say?
Yeah, it's definitely a space that I like to be in. Their energy is just incredible and so loving and so soft and so wise. I really feel still, even after the meditation, I still feel very held, and I feel like that's something they're doing for all of us right now, you know. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And I think to me, I just keep thinking that they so believe in the divine in us. I shouldn't just say believe in us. They know the divine in us, and that's something it still is a little hard to compute for me, but they see us in the wholeness of who we are and understand that potential that's here.
Yeah.
And they believe in it without a doubt.
Right. And I think it's important what you said at the end about saying I love you. I feel like that's something that I've started doing more recently than ever before. I don't normally do that in meditations, but I feel like in working with the angels and the ascended masters, it's something I've started to do more regularly as well.
Right.
And I think I didn't feel worthy, for why would they care,
Yeah, if I say I love you.
Right, why would they care? But I do feel there is this reciprocal vibration that is being exchanged when I do express that. I think they do receive it. And that ripples out, that energy, like you said, is all around us. It goes out into the world. It's not something they hold on to. It's something that moves through all of us. So it's beautiful. And I think that helps kind of deepen my relationship with them, to be able to say that.
Yeah. Bab says, thanks so much. I'm feeling more balanced. That's good. And I feel that too. It is It is a natural balance, and it is, from everything that I understand of all of this, there are like 5 big areas that are essential for us in our awakening, and balancing the masculine and feminine is one of them.
Yeah.
It also is present in the flame in our hearts, the spiritual flame that lights up. Actually, it is the presence of the creator in us is a threefold flame that represents the masculine and the feminine, and then the truth that lies within us. So what we're wanting to do is to bring them all forward in balance, and to light everything up within ourselves. Yeah. And of course, when we do that, I think I also felt, preparing for the circle today, that an important part of this, what we're doing here now, is not just for us, it's for humanity as a whole.
Right. Yeah.
And I've felt that before with different things that would be asked of me, or that I needed to clear. If I'm clearing it for myself, and those of us, because we're kind of on the leading edge, we're lighting the way for other people to make it easier for them.
Right. And as we heal the world. That's
Right.
important to remember too,
Right.
that for every little piece of work that we do on ourselves, we're actually helping raise the vibration of the planet.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Healing is selfless because of that,
Right. And that's another part of it. Healing is another one of the 5 that we have to, it's really releasing what you, if you want to call it karma or trauma or whatever you want to call it, releasing those stuck energies so that we can just fully embrace who we are.
Right.
It's not like we're trying to add on anything. What we're doing is just taking away all the stuff that isn't true, and then what's left is us.
Right. And those areas are flooded with love and light now, and instead of holding on to that stuck, icky energy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
Yeah. We have a couple more comments here from Margaret. She said, "Thank you so much. I became aware of the work I must do to balance the masculine and feminine, and not be afraid of my masculine side."
Lovely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's lovely.
Interesting. Nikki says, "Loving self equals loving others."
Yep. Absolutely.
It
Starts
does.
at home, as they say. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and kindness. It comes from that place of love,
right,
that allows us to love others enough to actually have respect for them and want to support them. And it's hard to do that when you're in pain yourself.
Right. That's why I love that saying, love is, or kindness is just love with its work boots on. I feel like, I think that's so true.
Yeah. Okay, so does that feel complete for you?
Yeah, it feels wonderful. I'm in this beautiful, like, elevated space.
I know. I can't think of anything else that needs to be said. So,
yeah.
So, just for anyone out here or there who's here with us today, both Gretchen and I are very well versed in supporting people in balancing and activating the masculine and feminine. If you're looking for any support.
Yes.
So, Gretchen, would you like to tell people how to connect with you for that and the many things that you're doing?
Sure. You can find me here on Facebook, where we post these videos. I'm Spiral Journey Holistic Life Services, or you can connect with me as Gretchen Comer. I'm also on Instagram as Spiral Journey Gretchen. My website is spiraljourney.net. And it has a lot of resources on there that are free. You can go to my free page and download or engage in anything there. And of course, I share the circles of love and light there as well. And yeah, I'd love to connect with anybody. And if you have any questions, just let me know.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
And for us at Awakenings Institute, we're here. Awakenings Institute, if you're not aware of Awakenings, it's a nonprofit organization that's devoted to creating a more loving world. And we do our work through a lot of different, primarily trainings, and also working with people personally as clients. We have a very large website that's been around for decades. And on the website, we have a free resource kit for light workers, spiritual healers, and way showers, people like us. It has an excerpt from our latest book, The Loving Power of Your Soul. We have a process we call the Happy Tap with EFT, which is using emotional freedom techniques for clearing, and other spiritual resources. The website also is full of blogs and other things. We have a tiny URL for it because our website is so big that the URLs are long. So it's tinyurl.com/spiritual-kit, and that's to get the resource kit. Philip and I also wrote a book called The Solution, Make a Difference and Change the World with the Power of Love, which is a free offering for anybody. In fact, we want people to get it and pass it around to your friends, you know, and especially people who may not see those things otherwise, because love is, it makes so much sense. It's not just a airy fairy thing. It's something, when you have more love in your life, you can increase your longevity. There's so many different just practical things. Plus, it feels good. So that one is at tinyurl.com/444, the number 4-solution. So with that, again, I want to thank you for joining us. If you want to support the circle, you can like our page. You can share this video with your friends, which would share the love, and invite your friends to join you in the circle, and then you can share on that level with them. The final thing we do each week is to send the love and light that we have collectively gathered out into the week ahead, so you can have all of that beautiful love and light. And just imagine sending it all out into the future. And you can send it to the past too, just healing any of those parts of yourself that didn't have enough love. And have a wonderful week. We love you.
We do.
We do. It's true.